3 years ago, this car introduced an entire continent to a brand most people couldn't pronounce. It became a bestseller, a taxi rank regular, a driveway staple, and now BYD has updated it and decided not to change how it looks. At all. Almost. But here's the trick. Underneath this familiar shell, basically everything is new. New platform, new battery. It's gone from front-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive. The charging speed has doubled, and the fast one will out-accelerate a hot hatch. This is the BYD Atto 3 EVO, and the word EVO is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So, is it the smartest family EV money can buy in 2026, or a software update wearing last season's clothes? Stick around, we're going deep. Welcome back to the channel. Today's a big one. We've got the full walk around, a proper interior tour, a real world range run, a live fast charging test, and a head-to-head against the cars you're actually cross-shopping, the Tesla Model Y, the Skoda Elroq, and the Renault Scenic. I'll also explain why search interest in this exact car is going through the roof in places like Austria, Hungary, and Norway, because the where tells you a lot about the why. If you're new here, we test EVs like we own them, not like we're on a press junket. Let's get into it. Quick context, because it matters. The original Atto 3 landed in Europe in 2023 and effectively launched BYD here. It was affordable, comfortable, a bit weird inside, and it sold. But the EV market moves fast. A 260-mile car that felt competitive in 2023 suddenly looked slow to charge and short on range next to a wave of new rivals. BYD knew it. They've basically admitted the old car had fallen behind. So EVO stands for evolution. And for once, the marketing is honest. This is the kind of midlife update where they didn't just tweak the bumpers, they re-engineered the bones of the car. And the timing is deliberate. BYD's growth in Europe has been explosive. Registrations in Germany jumped several 100% year on year early in 2026. They've got a factory footprint in Hungary, a full model range, and ambitions to match. The Atto 3 is the car that started it, so getting the EVO right is strategically huge for them. Okay, let's play spot the difference, because honestly, it's hard. Same length, 4,455 millimeters. Same width, same height, same 2,720 millimeter wheelbase. If you parked the old one next to it, most people couldn't tell them apart. The giveaways are subtle. Revised front and rear bumpers. New one, 8-inch alloys as standard across the range. Slimmer side skirts for a cleaner profile. And around the back, the clear as tell, a bigger roof spoiler with distinctive twin high-level brake lights. There's also a genuinely useful change you can't see in photos. The charging port has moved from the front wing to the rear flank, which is just more convenient at most chargers. Now, is it exciting to look at? Not really. It's inoffensive. It could be from almost any brand. And depending on who you are, that's either a criticism or the entire point, because plenty of buyers don't want a spaceship on the driveway. 6 colors, by the way. Skiing white as standard, then black, gray, 2 blues, and a red. Open the door, and this is where the EVO earns its name inside. The old car's cockpit looked like an aircraft. There was this big gear selector lever sticking up out of the center console, like a thrust lever. It's gone. Now it's a tidy column stock, which frees up the console and makes the whole cabin feel airier and more grown up. Material quality has taken a real step up. Soft touch surfaces, faux leather, contrast stitching, microfiber trim, genuinely premium for this price. There are hard plastics if you go looking low down, but they're out of sight. And then there's the BYD weirdness, which I'm pleased to report survives. The door pockets still have these elasticated guitar strings. And yes, they actually play a note if you pluck them. The air vents look like stacked Oreos. The door handles are these odd little rotary dials. Some of you will find this charming, some of you will find it exhausting. I'm in the charming camp. Tech is a major upgrade. You get a new 8.8-inch digital driver's display and the famous 15 6-inch central touchscreen, still the biggest in the class. It no longer rotates, and honestly, nobody misses that party trick. What you get instead is the headline feature. This is the first BYD in Europe with Google built in. That's a big deal. Native Google Maps, the Play Store for apps, and Google Assistant for voice. The old BYD software was clunky. This is night and day. There's also an AI-enhanced voice assistant with a cloud-based language model, so you can speak to it more naturally. It's not flawless yet, though. On early cars, the traffic sign recognition only worked part of the time, and the range prediction in maps wasn't properly calibrated for the bigger battery. At one point, it showed an oddly pessimistic figure. That smells like a software fix rather than a hardware flaw. But at launch, it feels slightly unfinished. You also get a wireless, cooled phone charging pad, 4 USB-C ports, and NFC phone ASCII access. Here's where the rear-wheel drive switch quietly pays off. You'd think moving the motor to the back would eat boot space. The opposite happened. A lower boot floor means cargo is up 50 liters to 490 liters with the seats up, and 1,360 with them folded. And because there's no motor under the bonnet on the single motor car, you now get a 101-liter frunk perfect for cables or the weekly shop. That's at least 591 liters total, up from 440 before. Big jump. Back here, leg and headroom are above average, the floor is completely flat, and you get rear vents and 2 USB-C ports. 3 ISOFIX points, 2 back here, 1 on the front passenger seat, so it's a sensible family car. The only catch? Even taller passengers sit a little perched rather than hunkered down, and the middle rear seat is occasional use at best. Other nice touches: a sunglasses holder built into the headlining, a big lidded armrest cubby, and a 3 kilowatts vehicle to load function, so you can run a coffee machine, a grill, or camping gear straight from the car. Right, the engineering. This is the real story. The EVO sits on the latest E-Platform 3. The old 60.5 kilowatt hours battery is gone, replaced by a 74.8 kilowatt hours blade battery using LFP chemistry, safe, durable, and now built using cell-to-body construction where the cells are structural parts of the chassis. That's how they fit more energy in without changing the car's size. 2 versions. The design is rear-wheel drive, 230 kilowatts, 313 horsepower, 0-100 inches, 5.5 seconds, and up to 510 kilometers WLTP. The Excellence adds a front motor for all-wheel drive, 330 kilowatts, 449 horsepower, 0-100 inches, a frankly ridiculous 3.9 seconds, with 470 kilometers of range. They also upgraded the rear suspension from a 4-link to a 5-link setup for better handling. And top speed climbs to 180 inches the RWD car and 200 inches the AWD. The platform is technically 800 volt. Though the working voltage sits just under 500, the headline benefit shows up in charging, which we'll test shortly. Electrive.com. So how does it drive? Let's start with the good. The roll-on acceleration, even in the single motor car, is genuinely strong. It pushes you back into the seat. Power delivery is smooth and progressive, not snatchy. Around town and on rural roads, the firm-ish chassis works well. It corners cleanly and feels planted. But I'm going to be straight with you, because that's the deal here. The handling is competent, not thrilling. The steering has decent weight, but not much feel, and there's an odd stickiness just off-center. Switching between eco, normal, and sport modes, I genuinely struggled to feel a difference. Just leave it in normal. 2 more things to flag for the test drive checklist. First, there's no true one-pedal driving. BYD doesn't offer it, and brake pedal feel is a little woolly at the top of the travel. Second, on the motorway. Up to about 120, it's serene, but past 130 wind noise climbs quickly, and on one rear-wheel drive test car, reviewers felt a vibration through the wheel from around 105. The all-wheel drive cars didn't show it, so check the specific car you drive. If you mostly do city and B roads, none of this will bother you. Complete car. Numbers time. WLTP says 510 kilometers for the RWD, 470 for the AWD. But you came here for real world, so here's what testing actually showed. On a mixed loop motorway, plus a proper mountain climb, climate control running the whole time, no hypermiling, the single motor car returned about 18.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That maps to roughly 405 kilometers in tougher conditions, which is a solid all-year figure. Then, pottering around town and suburbs, it dropped to an impressive 13.1 kilowatt hours per 100, where you'd theoretically see over 500 kilometers. One annoyance. There's no proper resettable trip computer for efficiency, just a fixed last 50 kilometers readout, which is a strange omission on an otherwise tech-forward car. But the takeaway is clear. Real-world range is now genuinely competitive. And that was the old car's biggest weakness. Complete car. This is the headline upgrade. The old Atto 3 maxed out around 110 kilowatts and took roughly 44 minutes for a 80% top-up. The EVO, on its new architecture, claims 220 kilowatts and a 1080 inches, just 25 minutes faster than the old car, despite a 25% bigger battery. Now, real life. After preconditioning the battery, in independent testing, the car pulled up to around 191 kilowatts, short of the 220 claim, which is normal. The important caveat: charging power tapers fairly sharply after about 50%, so you'll want to unplug around 70-80 rather than chasing 100. In one test, recovering about 200 kilometers of range took roughly 20 minutes. For AC, it's still an 1 kilowatt onboard charger, about 8 hours for a full charge on 3-phase or overnight on a home wall box. The pro tip with this car: precondition before you arrive, charge to 70-80%, and you'll spend very little time plugged in on a road trip. Here's the thing: the EVO's extra power and range push it into a tougher fight than the old car ever faced. Let's break it down. The obvious one is the Tesla Model Y, still the benchmark for software and charging network. But the BYD undercuts it and throws in more standard kit. The Skoda, Elroq, and Enyaq do everything competently with more range and trim choices, but even the hot Enyaq RS can't touch the AWD Atto 3 EVO's 3.9-second sprint. The Renault Scenic E-Tech and Peugeot E 3008 look more interesting inside and out, and the Peugeot offers a 700-kilometer version, but neither matches the BYD's straight-line pace. And the Kia EV5 and Smart Hash 5 round out a brutally competitive segment. BYD's pitch is simple: more performance and more equipment for less money. The rivals counter with sharper driving manners and nicer interiors. Where you land depends on what you value. Quick data detour, because it's fascinating. Right now, search interest in this car is highest in Austria, then Hungary, Norway, Denmark, and Greece. And that geography tells a story. Hungary is becoming a BYD heartland thanks to the brand's factory investment there. Norway and Austria are mature EV markets, full of second-time buyers who specifically want faster charging and longer range, exactly what the EVO fixes. Meanwhile, in markets like the UK, Australia, and Italy, the searches lean more skeptical people hunting for proof, for real-world charging tests, before switching from a brand they already trust. So wherever you're watching from, that's the question this video is really answering. Has BYD done enough to earn the switch? Let's talk money. In the UK, the RWD design starts around £38,990, and the AWD Excellence around £42,730. In Euro markets, the list prices are higher, roughly €44,990 and €50,990. But watch for launch discounts. BYD has been offering 5-figure manufacturer incentives that drop the entry price dramatically. Prices crept up only modestly over the old car, which, given the power and tech jump, is fair. Crucially, the trim structure is dead simple. You pick design or excellence, and that's basically it. The Excellence adds all-wheel drive, a head-up display, heated rear seats, and a panoramic sunroof. And those 3 features aren't available any other way. Everything else, from the heat pump to the 360 camera to the Google system, is standard on both. On peace of mind, a 6-year, 150,000-kilometer vehicle warranty, plus an 8-year battery warranty, guaranteeing at least 70% state of health. The Blade battery tech is well proven, and BYD even supplies cells to other major car makers. No car is perfect. So here's the honest niggle list. The driver monitoring and safety bongs are overeager, and switching the monitoring off is buried deep in the menus. There's that missing trip computer, some launch software quirks, wind noise at speed, and styling that nobody's gonna write poetry about. None of these are deal breakers, but they're exactly the things you'll live with daily, so go in with your eyes open. So who's this for? If you want a spacious, well-built, seriously well-equipped family EV that now charges fast and goes a proper distance, and you don't need it to thrill you in the corners, the Atto 3 EVO is a genuinely strong buy. The RWD design is the sweet spot. The 449 horsepower excellence is hilarious, but nobody needs it. The verdict? EVO is the most honest badge BYD could have used. It looks like a facelift, but it drives, charges, and travels like a different, much better car. It's gone from a vehicle you'd recommend purely on value to one that's a credible choice on its own merits. That's a big leap in 3 years. So tell me down in the comments, has BYD done enough to make you switch? Or are you sticking with the Tesla, the Skoda, the Renault? I read every comment. If this helped, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.